the stinking secrets of medieval kings. What do you think when you hear the words medieval king? Images come to mind of epic battles, valiant knights, of majestic castles. Maybe you see yourself feasting in a great hall, drinking from golden goblets and laughing with fellow nobles. But what if I told you that this idyllic vision hides a dirty little secret? The stench? That's right. Medieval kings might have ruled over their kingdoms with an iron fist, but they also ruled with a nose of steel because these guys had some seriously funky BO issues. You see, medieval kings weren't exactly known for their impeccable hygiene habits. Back then, bathing wasn't exactly a daily thing. In fact, some of these guys went decades without a good scrub. And let me tell you, things got real stinky real fast. We're talking BO so bad it could knock a knight off his horse. So get ready to learn the top 5 stinking secrets of medieval kings. You won't believe how gross things really were. Number 5. Louis XIV of France, the Sun King. If you ever took a class on European history, chances are you heard about Louis XIV of France, aka the Sun King. Louis was the epitome of medieval royalty. He lavished attention on everything from art and architecture to fashion and warfare. He was a true Renaissance man, but he might have had a little bit of a problem with personal hygiene. See, Louis took the whole "perfume is the ultimate weapon" mantra a little too seriously. He famously kept his bedroom window open at all times, even in the dead of winter, so that his room would smell fresh and clean. Well, at least that was the theory. In reality, Louis's bedroom smelled more like a public bathroom than a royal chamber. The king simply couldn't stop sweating, and his perspirations were legendary. Historians estimate that he bathed only about twice a year, which meant that his laundry situation was less than stellar. Just imagine the smell of stale sweat, unwashed linens and royal decay wafting through the halls of Versailles. Not exactly the kind of ambiance you'd expect from a sun god, huh? Louis's obsession with cleanliness might have been well-intentioned, but it clearly wasn't very effective. If you want to know how bad the stench really was, just ask the artist who painted Louis's portrait. Apparently he had to cover his nose while working on it. Oof, talk about a stinky subject. Number 4, Henry VIII of England. Now let's turn our attention to one of Britain's most notorious monarchs, Henry VIII. The man was a legend, known for his 6 wives, his love of food, and of course his questionable hygiene. Henry loved to indulge, and we're not just talking about his famous feasts. The king was known for throwing lavish parties that lasted days, complete with dancing, drinking, and debauchery. But with all that revelry comes a price, and Henry paid it in spades. The king's parties were so legendary that his attendants had to carry around special buckets to catch his vomit. Yikes. And let's be real, those buckets probably didn't stay clean for long. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Henry's hygiene habits were so bad that some historians believe he contracted a skin disease from bathing in cold water. Talk about a royal pain. The man's fondness for rich foods and lack of exercise also meant that he spent a lot of time on the porcelain throne. Just imagine the smell of stale waste mingling with the scent of stale sweat and unwashed linen. Not exactly a recipe for a delightful aroma. Number 3, Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire. While we may not think of Genghis Khan as a medieval ruler, since he lived from 1162 to 1227, he fits nicely within the time frame of medieval history. He founded the Mongol Empire, one of the largest empires in history, and led his armies on some truly terrifying conquests. But what many people don't know is that Genghis Khan wasn't exactly Mr. Fresh. In fact, he was so stinky that his enemies used his BO against him. During the siege of Bukhara, Genghis Khan's soldiers reportedly unleashed a deadly stink bomb on the city, hoping to flush out the remaining defenders. But instead, they ended up facing off against another Mongol army who thought the stench was coming from them. Talk about a stinky situation. As much as we might admire Genghis Khan's military prowess, we can't deny that his hygiene game was seriously lacking. Some historians suggest that his fondness for fermented mare's milk might have contributed to his pungent aroma. After all, fermented anything can get pretty ripe. But regardless of the cause, there's no denying the effect. Genghis Khan's stink was so bad that it became a weapon of war. Number 2, King George II of England. Now let's take a journey back to the 18th century and meet King George II of England. He was the longest reigning British monarch at the time and was known for his love of all things German. But the king had a little bit of an issue with, well, number 2, literally. King George's bowels were so problematic that his attendants had to rush to the throne room before he unleashed his explosive diarrhea onto the floor. And let's be real, those poor souls probably didn't enjoy the most pleasant of scents. The king's digestive distress was so legendary that one member of parliament even wrote a song about it. Talk about a royal pain in the butt. But George wasn't just a victim of his bowels. He also had a habit of leaving his laundry piled up, which resulted in a serious case of déjà vu all over again. Historian Kitty Ferguson describes the king's rooms as a place where one could, quote, die of the stench. Yikes. Between his explosive bowel movements and his questionable laundry habits, King George II was one stinky monarch. Number 1, Vlad the Impaler, Prince of Wallachia. Last but certainly not least, we have Vlad the Impaler, aka Vlad the Impaler. Now you might be thinking, who the heck is that? Well, Vlad was the Prince of Wallachia, a medieval principality in what is now Romania. But he's best known for being the inspiration behind Bram Stoker's iconic character, Dracula. Yep, Vlad earned his nickname because he dipped his bread in blood during a feast, and he allegedly dipped his bread in the blood of Christian prisoners during a feast. Talk about a gruesome habit. But Vlad's affinity for all things dark and bloody didn't stop at his table manners. The prince was also known for his rather pungent aroma. Legend has it that Vlad's breath smelled like rotting meat, and he was so stinky that people could smell him coming long before they could see him. Talk about a stinker. But Vlad's hygiene habits weren't just gross, they were downright dangerous. The prince refused to bathe, even though he was known to suffer from smallpox and leprosy, two highly contagious diseases. His attendants tried everything to convince him to wash himself, but Vlad was adamant. He even built a special bathhouse near his castle so that he could bathe in the warm waters without having to mingle with the commoners. But you know what they say, curiosity killed the cat. And in Vlad's case, it almost killed everyone in his court. The stink alone might have been enough to send his advisors running for the hills, but when they started getting sick left and right, they had no choice but to flee. In the end, Vlad the Impaler's refusal to bathe not only made him one of the smelliest monarchs in history, but also one of the most hated. So there you have it, folks, the top 5 stinking secrets of medieval kings. From Louis XIV to Genghis Khan, these guys were some seriously smelly subjects. But hey, at least they were honest about it, right? They might have ruled with an iron fist and a nose of steel, but they sure had some stinky habits. Now it's your turn. Which of these medieval monarchs would you have hated to be around? And which ones do you think we missed? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more royal mishaps. After all, even kings and queens have to start somewhere.